I'm 94 years old, and in this life, well, I have lost everything I was ever afraid of losing. Right now, I feel like I'm sitting inside a truck with broken brakes, speeding straight toward the edge of a cliff. I know my turn has come, and before it does, before everything goes quiet, I need to tell you the biggest mistake of my life. Because when it comes to time, all of you are bankrupt. Most people don't really live their lives. They postpone them. You think you're the star of a movie with endless scenes ahead. You believe your account has unlimited days. You think there will always be another tomorrow. But then you blink, and suddenly you're 94 years old, and the keys in your hand feel heavier than they used to. All those valuable things you own, your houses, your cars, your collections, one day someone will throw them away. When you die, your children will hire a stranger to empty your life into trash bags. When I was young, I truly believed time was endless, as if life came with an unlimited credit limit. I'll do this later. I'll start living after I retire. Well, just not right now. But time doesn't work that way. One day you realize the account you thought was infinite is overdrawn. The things you filled your home with, your titles, your awards, they all become objects someone else will clean out. And in the end, only a few questions remain. Who was I with? Who did I love? And who wasn't I there for? Let me tell you about my closest friend. His name was Michael. Michael and I met in 1954 on the assembly line of a car factory. We were both 22 years old, fresh out of the Army, full of dreams that felt as solid as the steel we shaped every single day. We didn't just become friends, we became brothers. For 7 years, every Friday night we sat at Murphy's Bar on 8th Street. We drank cheap beer. We drew our futures on cocktail napkins. Our plan was simple, clear, responsible. Work until 65, collect our pensions, then finally live the life we dreamed of. We were going to buy a small cabin in Montana. We imagined waking up in silence, fishing during the day, playing cards in the evening, having time to simply exist. No shift whistles, no supervisors, no alarm clocks. 7 more years, Frank, Michael would say, lifting his glass. 7 more years, and we're free. I'd tap my bottle against his. Not much longer, brother. We even planned the details. The cabin would cost $40,000. We picked the location from a magazine, Pine Creek, Montana. Mountain view. A small stream right behind it. We tore the page out and hung it on the walls of our garages. But there was one thing we didn't plan for. Time doesn't wait for your plans to be ready. Michael turned 64 on March 15, 1996. 1 year before retirement. 1 year before Montana. 1 year before later. On March 22nd, while taking out the trash, he collapsed on the road in front of his house. He hit his head. A traumatic brain hemorrhage. He was gone before the ambulance arrived. I spoke at his funeral, and when I saw my best friend of 42 years lying in a coffin, wearing a suit he had never worn in his life, something inside me broke. Michael never saw Montana. He never slept in that cabin. He never cast a fishing line into that stream. He died exactly 1 year before later. We spent over 4 decades planning what we would do after retirement. And when you look back, the math becomes cruel. Michael worked in that factory for 43 years. That's almost 90,000 hours on concrete floors, not counting overtime. He spent more time tightening bolts on cars he would never drive than holding his grandchildren. For what? For a later that never came. After the funeral, I went to help his wife, Dorothy, sort through his things. In the garage, that magazine page was still hanging there, Pine Creek, Montana. The ink had faded, but the dream was still alive. Dorothy touched my arm and said something I'll never forget. He talked about that cabin every day. 42 years, every single day. But Frank, he never once suggested we go see it, not even for a weekend. He always said, when we retire. Standing there, holding that faded page, I finally understood what we had done. We hadn't planned our future. We had taken our present hostage. Here's something no one likes to talk about. In America, the average retirement age is 65. The average life expectancy is 76. That means, if everything goes right, you might get 11 good years. Michael didn't even get that. He left this world carrying dreams he never lived. And worse, I had over 15,000 days to say, Michael, let's just go. 1 week, just to see it. But I didn't, because I believed the same lie he did. That time was like money, something you could save for later. But time is not money. Money waits in an account. Time melts like an ice cube in your hand, and every second you hesitate, more of it disappears. After Michael died, I retired. I bought the cabin myself. I lived there for 3 years. Every morning, I fished like we planned. It was beautiful, and it was empty. I'm not telling you this to make you sad. I'm telling you this because these might be the last words of someone who has reached the end, and you need to hear them. You think waiting is responsible. You say, I'll work hard now and enjoy it later. But that's just a story you tell yourself. I see it in my grandson, James. He's 34. He says he can't take time off. The company needs him. He'll travel when things slow down. He'll be present with his kids later. And, I want to shake him, because I've heard this song before. Michael sang it for 43 years, and I sang along. People think retirement is a magic door to freedom. Let me tell you what it really looks like. By 65, my knees were worn out. By 70, my glasses could start a fire. By 75, walking half a mile felt like climbing a mountain. By 80, I couldn't even maintain the cabin. Your body doesn't ask permission to age. Those peaceful walks you imagine, your knees might disagree. Those long trips, your heart may have other plans. Michael never fished in Montana, but here's the painful truth. Even if he had made it, he would have arrived tired, stiff, and sore. It wouldn't have felt the same. The person you are at 30 is not the person you'll be at 70. Different body, different energy, different people around you. When you say, I'll do it after I retire, you're gambling. And gamblers usually lose. After Michael died, I stopped waiting. I called old friends. Some were already gone. I visited my sister 3 times in 2 years. I took my grandson fishing even when I was exhausted, because what if I couldn't next year? I reduced my regrets. But what still haunts me is that I learned this lesson too late. That's why I'm talking to you now. Don't wait for Montana. Don't wait for retirement. Don't wait for one day. Ask yourself this. What happens if you die 1 year before your dream? Michael didn't die because he was careless. He died because he was human. You are not immortal. Your time is not guaranteed. The people you love will not wait. I think about Michael every day, about those Friday nights, about how we could have gone to Montana just once. 3 days, $500. We had 15,000 days together, and we couldn't spare 3. My garage is full of fishing gear meant for 2 people. I have photos of a cabin Michael never saw. 42 years of memories, all ending with later. Listen to me. I know you have responsibilities, bills, careers. I had them too. I'm not telling you to abandon everything. I'm telling you